It's all about Andaman Nicobar. 20 years I've traveled Andaman. I have shared a complete itinerary, a detailed itinerary of places to cover, ferry services and the ship experience, food, hotel stay, tip and tricks. Hey guys, very good evening. I'm right now in Portblair. We've been traveling to Portblair since 2000. The purpose behind doing this video is a lot of my friends have asked what is the best time and the costing. So I thought better at least for them I'll try to do a vlog about this. So what is it you guys can expect in Andaman and Nicobar Islands? Very pleasant climate, very nice place. Weather is unpredictable. Everywhere you guys can see shore. See, what would be the best time to travel? Between November and March is the travel peak season here. But when you talk about the best time to travel, November to February is the best time to travel. December used to be the peak because the climate will be absolutely pleasant. A lot of entertainment activities happens here. Keep in mind, cost is really high. Since it's a season and a lot of travels are expected and the flights will be full and the flights cost and the accommodation cost. So that is something you guys need to keep in mind. And what is the time you're not supposed to travel? Definitely when there is a cyclone alarming situation, that is between September, October, where you should avoid. There's a question again, can we travel in the ship from either from Chennai to Port Blair or from Kolkata to Port Blair? No, it is not a good advice. The reason is earlier there used to be a ship, I'm talking about 2000, 2003, where the ship every Friday used to cross from both the sides, Chennai to Port Blair or Port Blair to Chennai. Now the flights have increased. People who travel by the ship are very less, and I've heard that a ferry operates only 45 days once. Travelers are only in hundreds. And number two is, the ship is not something what you guys think like a cruise. It's basically a very normal ship. I think at the moment Swarajip is running, and if I'm not wrong, Swarajip is almost like 20 years plus. It was not a great experience, and in the fast world time, you don't get the time because the travel time between Chennai to Port Blair or Kolkata to Port Blair, between 3 to 5 days depends upon the route. Do we have such 3 to 5 days time? If we have an alternate for the ship, then I will cover it later. Next, what you guys got to see is the costing, the best hotels, the food, do's and don'ts in terms of Andaman. The next question people ask, how many days required? There are two things here. One is basically people here come to see Andaman because after tsunami, it has been known to a lot of people. People come here to experience. So there are two types of people who come, want to just relax, do sort of diving, and maybe for a honeymoon couple, they straight away go to Havelock or Nielisland. For such trip, maybe maximum 3 to 4 days is required. As I said, it depends upon how many days you want to travel. So that is one sort of people. So let's have that itinerary separate. And the regular traveler, so minimum timeline required is 5 days. But if you can extend it to 6 days, it will be great. Do book your flights first. That's something very important because flight charges are very expensive, especially during the peak season. If you try to do the last minute, the cost will be really super expensive. You might even think why to go to Andaman. But if you plan and book, the costing starts anywhere between 8,000 to 8,000. During non-peak season, depends again of the travel. 5,000, 5,500, 6,000 is the ticket pricing what you get. So the number two cost is crossing the islands. You have to go to Havelock or Neil. You have to take a ferry. There is government ferry and there is wet ferry. One-way charges from between Port Blair to Havelock will be anywhere between 1,300 to 1,900 or 2,000 per person, and vice versa. And Havelock during season 4,000 to 8,000 will be the costing per room. So that is the cost what you have to keep in mind. There are people who ask about ship journey. So between Port Blair to Havelock, it is a 2 hours journey. You guys can pick the ferry, which you guys can get the sea experience. There are two types of ferries. One is a closed ferry, other one is an open ferry. Open ferries are government ferry, and there is one more which is called Green Ocean. Closed one is like Macros, Nautica. These are the high-speed ferries, but it is closed. You guys can see the sea, but you can't experience the sea experience. So that is something you have to keep in mind. Now, Havelock or Neil. Havelock is easiest place to pick because on any social media, Havelock is something you guys can get a lot of itinerary. There are totally 6 beaches. Radhanagar Beach and Elephant Beach are most known, and Havelock is slightly bigger island compared to Neil, but it's more commercialized, more crowded. So Neil Island is a slightly smaller island. You got hardly 4 beaches. It's a very small island, and the must visit place is called Havelock Bridge or the Natural Cave. During low tide, you guys can experience a beautiful, amazing experience. So it depends upon whether you want to take Havelock or Neil or both Havelock and Neil. That's a good option to choose if you are a person wanted to relax. And let's go to the 5-day itinerary for common people, every first time visitors wanted to come. Let's talk that. First thing is take a early morning flight or the morning flight, because you land early and you will get the complete full day, because Andaman is almost 1500 kilometers away from the mainland, maybe Chennai or Calcutta. So sun rises early and sets fast. So similarly the activities closes starts early and then ends soon. Day 1, go to cellular jail. It'll take 2 hours, and I appreciate you guys take some guide to know about the history of cellular jail. Take a break for lunch, and from lunch can go to Cabins Cove. Cabins Cove, you guys can spend close about 2.5 hours. You will have a lot of water sport activities. From there, again evening, you guys can come back to the cellular jail, because there is a light and sound event happens, which is about 45 minutes. Once that is done, you guys can come to this place. It's very close to the cellular jail, and there is a lot of nearby outlets. You guys can have food. So this will be your day 1 activity. Day 2, you guys need to plan to go to Havelock. So any of the highlands, try to do it in the early of the trip itself. Do not push the last minute. So day 2, you guys can take the ferry and go to Havelock or Neil, and then you do your activities, beach exploring, and then till next day morning till about 11 o'clock you can explore all the beaches. Afternoon you take the ferry and then come back to Portblair. You should be reaching Portblair back by 5:30 or 6 o'clock. Evening there is a place called Sagarika, which is a government run, where you'll get a lot of arts and crafts. There are a lot of local shops, but I prefer going to Sagarika because it's original. Something on day 3. There are a lot of people who misses out Baratang Island. Basically, Jarwas is also one of the known things in Andaman. It's in the middle part of the Andaman. So there are 640 Jarwas at the moment, and they are almost socialized. Dense forest close about 50 kilometers. So you have to cross from this side to that side. So there is a lot of rules and regulations. So please do contact your local tour operator or the hotel where you stay. To cross forest area, there is about 4 convoys. So try to take the first convoy, reach there, and you guys can take a beautiful 1-hour boat inside a place called Limestone Cave, where you have to walk for about 1.5 kilometers. You will see a beautiful limestone cave. And then once that is done, you guys can finish your lunch there, come back to the Portblair by 3:30. Evening, you guys can relax. There are a couple of museums here. Your day 4 is done. Day 5, which is your last day. Early morning, try to go to Vandoor Beach, which is one of the famous beach. A lot of shoots happen there. And once that is done, you guys can go to Chiriatapu and end your day, because always there is a saying, Chiriatapu is beautiful for its sunset viewpoint. And you guys can come back to hotel, and then next day morning, you guys can take your first flight or whatever flights you are comfortable with. So this is the itinerary. So certain things what you need to keep in mind is summer will be very, very super hot here. I know because of kids leave, there are people who are forced to come in the month after, during March, April, May. But to be honest, it's a super, super hot month. Pleasant climate is about November and December is pleasant. Right now in the middle of July, where it is not hot, it is not rainy season. During night, it's raining, and the daytime it is pleasant. Guys can also check the weather and book it, because during this season, expenses will come down because the flight charges are less. So the cost comes down, like your flight charges, your hotel charges. So something you guys need to keep in mind. And number 2 is mobile network is far, far better. So mobile network is good. But when you cross island, ensure you guys carry cash. It's always better to carry some cash when you cross island. And in terms of travel, within Portblair, apart from this Baratang Island, you guys can hire a scooter. Per day, they charge anywhere between 500 to 600, depends upon the season. And the fuel prices are at the moment are 83 rupees. One thing keep in mind, these are not really that great. Up and downhill, and you guys can expect a quick shower. And the roads can be slippery, so be very, very careful. And the riding etiquettes are also not great here, so be very, very mindful about that. There are a lot of small islands like Jolly Boy and a lot of islands. I don't want to give a tip, but don't try to influence some fisherman and spend extra money and try to go around such islands, because after the incident, Coast Guard and the police are very, very watchful behind this. All these fishermen get into such trouble. Well, food. As per my experience, finding out a good food is slightly tough and a challenging part here. Never been happy about the food what you get from hotels, but there are some nice options where you guys can find it out. Here, very close by, there is a place called Lighthouse, where you get nice seafood and other food. And a mega pod government run place where the food was really, really good. And one more near Batubasi's place called Trio, where the food is good. But places they call biryani, don't even try biryani, because fried rice is something like this okay, because they do a mixed rice. It's not a typical dum biryani what we have. So don't try biryani. Hotels. So hotels, I don't want to be really biased of naming. Maybe I can share some of the hotels where I've experienced it. Portblair Seascape is one of the hotel where the service and the facility is good. That's what straight away coming in my mind. There are other options. You guys can Google it, but try to pick the hotels inside inside the city itself in the Portblair. Don't try to push yourself to Batubasti or somewhere, because the reason is most of the activity happens around Portblair, where jail is close by Portblair, and the marketplace and sports activities, carbon, everything is very, very close by. So these are the small tips, and test out anything, I will try to add it later. See, Andaman is just not about Portblair or Havelock or Neil. Andaman is really, really bigger than that. There is a lot of things like North Andaman, Tiglipur, Rangad, Mayabandar. Many places are there. Public do not go. The secret recipe there still. So it's not a one-time place. So you guys can come. You guys can find out some time. Definitely a lot of hidden secrets are inside Andaman. A lot of beaches you guys will be seeing my vlog, because I have experienced this same lot of local beaches. Tourists what I've heard or been there. If you like this series, do share and subscribe. For support. I'm a biker who loves to travel. Thank you. Jai Hind. Take care. Bye.